encouraging. There is a system in place. This is in one of your handouts too, but so it's hard to see up here. But this is a relief, because in here there's a piece that says professional judgment, because sometimes you might have a teacher who is showing a low impact on their student impact measures or their district determined measures, but there's a reason. Like they had a very big percentage of ELL or EL now learners, English language learners, or there might be some specific reason why that teacher may not have shown as high of an impact. So the evaluator of that teacher has the ability to use professional judgment to kind of before they give their final rating for that teacher. You follow what I'm saying? So there is a piece in there for that. So they talk about basing it on 2 years of growth, so that there's not some fluke year where there were problems. Like they're trying to base it on more time than that, so they're basing it over 2 years. And every person needs 2 student impact ratings or 2 district determined measures. So can you tell me what the difference between student impact rating and district determined measures is, the distinction? Because that took me a while to kind of grasp that. Robin's going, no. So, student impact rating is something that's considered a term that's more statewide. So if there is a state testing system for that student, that's a student impact rating. So MCAS is the primary one for that. District determined measures there's nothing at the state level, there's nothing broader than that. So at our district level, we have to determine a way to measure student impact. So really that's the distinction from the materials that the Department of Ed puts out, is that the student impact rating, that bigger term, is used more for state testing, established state testing, and the district determined measure is when there isn't such a thing available, or to get a second one because everybody needs 2, then the district sits down and figures out, well, what the heck are we going to do to measure our impact? So that is kind of our charge. In Medford, I headed up a group of SISP providers, and this is why I say I don't know that anybody's really an expert on this. A group of OT, there was OT, PT, behavior specialists, guidance counselors, school adjustment counselors, psychologists, speech, and team leaders. And so I met with that group, and they each had to figure out, I had to try to guide them to each figure out for their discipline what their DDMs would be. And I got to tell you, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. So I'm going to share a little bit with you later about what we came up with, but I can't say that they're all like stellar. I can say that it's a work in progress, and I think it's going to be a work in progress for a while. Now, our district in Medford we're in the second pilot year. We were given last year was our second pilot year. So we didn't have to officially report until this year. So how many of you already have been reporting officially? And are others of you still in pilot year, or do you not know? That's your first year of reporting. Okay.
Are you talking about reporting in terms of
officially having
we're not licensed
to the state?
Yes. Yeah.
So not OTPT specific, but
yes,
district specific. So we're just starting to actually have to report this year. So we had quite a leeway. And the state is interesting because the person we have in our district who is our contact with the Department of Ed, she said it's a lot of gray. And the Department of Ed is a lot of gray about it. So when we go and we ask them questions, they don't always have an answer. I will tell you, there's no substitute for digging in and reading all this stuff. And everything you look at, I only give you a few, there's a ton of implementation briefs and things on the Department of Ed website. Everything you look at has a million links within it. There is so much out there that it's like, it's kind of overwhelming, but it is helpful if you can kind of get your head around it and really sit and look through it. It helps you to really understand. So today will help you some understand as well, but there's really no substitute for sitting down and really reading this stuff, unfortunately.